Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Perfect Peace. If you're just joining us, we are in the middle of cleaning up my grandparents' property right now, and it's been an amazing project. It's been a huge project. But we're in week 3 of being here, and we've gotten a lot done. There's a lot more to go. The nice thing is that this week is supposed to be a little bit cooler of a week. It's supposed to be kind of rainy. After 2 weeks of being mid 70s and 80s, this is super welcomed because today is like a high of 55 and it's sweatshirt weather, which is awesome. It also is going to allow us to tackle another project that we've been putting off just kind of due to the heat, and that's been going through the greenhouses and starting to pull some stuff out of those. People have already been in them throughout the past couple weeks, just pulling stuff out, pots and that sort of stuff. But in terms of spending a ton of time in them, we just haven't. And there's still some stuff in there that we probably should pull out just to have available to sale or put into our treasure room, for other people. I figured what we maybe do is start this morning by giving you guys a little tour of the greenhouses and where they're all at and what's all in them, because since the passing of my grandpa has kind of repurposed some of them because the greenhouse had closed, and so some of them have turned into firewood storage and all that sort of stuff as well. So let's give you a look at what we got here for some greenhouses. So this is the first greenhouse here. This one's right behind my grandparents' house. There's really nothing special about this greenhouse, but there's some random things that we want to get out of here. Bunch of heaters. Some people have been asking about the different irrigation stuff that we have in here. They want to be able to pull that out. My kids have been in here cleaning up a bunch of cans, which are still some to go. But there's some random stuff in this greenhouse. We've got a rototiller, another weed eater, which I should probably see if that one will start. That would be nice. Part of a chainsaw, John Deere chainsaw, some hand tools. My grandpa's firewood in the back. Kind of cool little metal artwork here. It's pretty nifty. But in general, I mean, this greenhouse has been pretty well converted over to what my grandpa needed it for, which was some firewood storage, some kindling storage, that sort of stuff. But there's really not a ton to do in here, which is nice. So once you come around this other side, this greenhouse down here is called the solar greenhouse. But I've always kind of loved this space. It's just kind of a little secret back lawn, I guess, so to speak. I've always thought it was kind of cool. Some more landscaping that's overgrown and taken over, but in its prime, there's a gate that's up there that used to be able to cheat through. There's a little stone path that comes down. It's a pretty cool spot, really. But in here is the solar greenhouse, and it's been pretty well untouched and has gotten pretty filled up full of stuff. Door here. This greenhouse has always been kind of a hot box. But it has since been filled full of stuff by my grandpa and my grandma, and a lot of randomness in here. We got some tarps, some metal shelving, of course more irrigation for when it was ran as a greenhouse, a couple grow lights, a vacuum cleaner, another stove. But in here there's shelves full of stuff. different kind of specialized planters that my grandma would do different bouquets in for people, or she would design some of her own pots for people that they would buy, and that's just got a lot of random stuff in it. Some good crates there. These crates are so handy for carrying stuff out. I found a really cool table back here for somebody the other day that was looking for one, and my mom snatched it up. She wouldn't let me sell it to the lady. So there's always stuff like that pops up. But cool Panasonic stereo. That's pretty cool. But just more random. It never ends with this project. I still get surprised at what shows up where, even though I probably shouldn't be, but you know, like a random pair of must be my grandpa's boots. Some clothes hanging up in here. Come back here, do it without falling. You hear the garbage truck going by. So back here was kind of another workshop of sorts, and just full of just so much random stuff. Tools, lots and lots of tools, sprayers, trash, a cool random photo. Looks like some fishing supplies. Breakers. There's another compressor that my grandpa had torn down. Just so much random. Multi-tools, drills. This is where that really cool table was located, and I pulled it out of here. But there's pumps, more heaters, so many electric heaters. Just in this space right here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electric heaters stacked right here. Why? I have no idea. But they're all here. Just a workbench of so much random stuff. It still needs to get cleaned out. And yeah, it's a nice cool 60 degrees in here. It's 50 degrees outside, so not bad to work in today. Cool light up rock. Lots of little table. So much to pull out of here. Back to the ceiling. Alright. Heading back through back lawn. So there was another greenhouse back here. Greenhouse of sorts, I guess. We tore it down because we had to rob some parts off of it so that we could build the awning in the front yard. But this used to be another kind of greenhouse area, which my grandpa turned into a spot for his log splitter, which actually this has never moved, but they used to have this covered so that you could they would mix their fertilizer in here. and so that way just have a good covered area. So they used an old cement mixer to kind of mix everything together, and then they would dump it out and start filling pots, and that's how they got stuff started. Something I haven't shown you is kind of behind. This is the big greenhouse here, which you guys have already seen into on a previous couple episodes actually. But behind here is another area that I really should come through and mow. But this is the backside solar greenhouse. I always thought this was a really cool spot. We used to sneak down here a lot. But it's just like another hillside lawn that has since become overgrown. But across over here, across the road, my grandparents owned part of this property over here, and there's a creek that's down there that we used to catch frogs in and bring them back for grandma. And I think my cousins even have caught a snake a time or two and brought it up. Here's some of the foundation of the greenhouse. And back here we've got more greenhouses. So we have two more. So this first greenhouse here, we've already had somebody clear out. This was full of pots and pans, full of pots that they wanted, and so they came in and we made them a screaming deal, and with the understanding that they'd come in and clean up the spot and make it look better, and they did. So, in my mind, this would be a greenhouse worth tearing down and rebuilding somewhere else, because it's actually in really good shape. There's not a ton left in here. There's some tires. Some tires that have been covered. That's good to know. I might need those for another project I've been working on. Find out what they are. Let's see. Toyos. Not a lot of life left in them, but it's good to know that they're here. But just some random stuff, some pallets, a couple fans, some water fixtures. But in general, this is one greenhouse that's fairly been cleaned out. This other one I don't think has been gone through yet, but this is one that has been overran by the plants that were left in here, which is, I don't know, I think it's kind of cool personally, but it's turned into its own garden. It's kind of a cool thought of, just earth reclaiming itself. You can tell that this is where all the viney plants were kept. And it was built for that. You can see the trellises over top. And those plants have just kept growing. But in general, it's been fairly cleared out. Big cage back here. But this is another greenhouse that would just be worth, redoing and tearing down and moving it. So that's not a greenhouse, but we'll talk about that in a different episode. A couple more greenhouses here. These ones are pretty well full of stuff. And full of boxes. And the reason why they'd keep the boxes is so they could help transport plants and stuff. So they were always afraid of running out. But I can tell you, after going through a quarter of the other buildings and other automobiles and stuff that are here, they had no shortage of boxes ever. Cool lanterns hanging on the wall. I keep finding these old gas and water cans that have been pretty fun to dig out and sell and keep. But this is pretty much just trash in here that we just need to clear out. A pretty good job helping us with cleaning up. You know, if they want to buy some pots, we just kind of tell them, you know, hey, you got to take the whole pile and take the good and the bad and have them dispose of the bad. But we make them such a good deal that, you know, people don't balk at it too much. This here is not a greenhouse. This is actually the chicken coop. Grandpa used to run chickens and for eggs and meat. And it's been pretty well cleared out. I think by towards the end, of course, Grandpa just kind of let the door open, and I'm sure Fox got in here and took care of the chickens and stuff. So that's been pretty well cleared out. My grandma used to build all these little, I don't know what you call these, I guess little mini greenhouses. And most of the time they weren't covered, they were just outdoor. And I think, if I remember right, she'd start maybe trees in here. Just stuff that didn't have to be so protected or so covered. But she had, you know, one here, and then she had one in front of her greenhouse, another one, I think, up on the hill just a little bit. But all these different areas to start and grow plants. There's another one there. This greenhouse is another one that we kind of need to cycle through a little bit. This kind of was their soil storage and propagation mix, whatever that means. But we've been selling the bags of soil out of here, which has been good. There's some vermiculite. But tell you what, the amount of different types of nails and stuff I have found is incredible. So many of those I just need to set aside and take back. But this is the guy that I'm interested in for today. Gas powered compressor. I have no idea if it, I gotta think, you know, I'm really, mainly because, you know, Grandpa would have to blow out all the lines each winter, and so with the amount of lines he had, you know, take some pretty good CFM to get it going. So I'm hopeful that this guy will run, but we kind of need to get it going because there's some whole bunch of other tires and stuff that I need to be able to air up that are away from power, and this guy right here would solve pretty much all of that if it runs. And that's a big if. But we're going to try today to get this guy going. That way I can continue on my other projects. But gives you a little idea of the greenhouses and what we've got for work. Really, in terms of looking at them, you know, the one that's down below there is the main one that is probably going to take the most amount of work in terms of just pulling the random stuff out of it. But that's Baker's cabin up there. We'll talk about that later too. But in front of Baker's cabin, there's a whole pile of stuff there, and that was for another greenhouse about the same size, if not bigger, than the big greenhouse that my grandparents have. So that'll get sold to somebody, I'm sure. But we'll see if we can get get our stuff tore out here and get that compressor out and go from there. Realized I gotta been running that blower in here for like 3 days. Probably should turn that down. Give this thing a little bit of a break. Quite a bit to pull out of here too. Wow, that's the coolest it's ever been in here. 70 degrees. Well, second thought, maybe I should just let that thing spin. I think I got somebody who's interested in Grandpa's motorcycle, so that'd be kind of cool to get that. Quite a bit of stuff to pull out of here yet, too. We'll get there, one step at a time. Alright, job of the day here. If we can get this compressor to pop off for us, this would be kind of a game changer. That's what we're going to work on today. See if we can get this guy to fire up. Well, you're going to have to bear with me here. My other camera died, but at least got it pulled over here. This is where that tent was, but we had a bad windstorm and it took it out, so now it's just a nice little workbench area outside. I'm looking at this here, see if we can get it going. The thing I did notice is that the gas tank is plumb dry, which is actually a good thing. So there's a chance that maybe it didn't get all gummed up. It does pull. It does sound like it has some compression. I feel like. The oil line, this was left on, which is once again good. Let stuff to get out of there and evaporate. But pretty simple. Throttle control. A little stiff, but it moves. Choke and run. It moves. I don't know if it's got spark, but I might just put a little gas in it here and see if it'll burp for us at all. Only thing I don't like, I wish there was a way to disengage the pulley there so it's not trying to turn the compressor at the same time, but that might just be what it is. So I did check and it's got some oil in there, enough to test it out. So I can tell it's been moving around, so let's see if we can get this thing to pop off. And it's like Grandpa had pulled maybe the spark plug off. Might be able to. That's alright, trying to do camera work and work at the same time. Well, we'll put a little gas in here and see if we can get it to go. One thing I don't see, got some gas in there, but I don't see a primer bulb or anything. Must prime itself as it goes maybe, or with the choke. Let's see, we'll turn the fuel on. Nothing dripping yet. Do full choke. Let's see if we can get her to pop off here. I'm gonna try to make it go. Oh. Sound very open that throttle all the way up, baby. Well, it's trying to burp. There it goes. All right. Well, one thing I don't like is this whole thing's going to rattle out the end. I should just take that off of there. Turn this on, maybe. The whole valve is air coming out of it, which isn't terrible, but well, see if we can get it to pop off again here. Didn't like it when I put it in the run position. It liked its choke. Goes. Alright. There's a little air gauge down here. I can broke with the muffler cover. Bye-bye, family. See you in a while. I'm here by myself this week, and for the rest of this week anyways, and our goal is to get Grandpa's pickup running and driving. So that's kind of where we're at. It's just me and Grandma's pickup.